This is some troubling news, to say the least, and let me tell you, the right is celebrating it. I've not seen them this happy on Twitter since Trump won, and when you see them acting like that, you know something bad is in the works. We're not talking about America, though, or any election that happened in America. We're talking about Japan, the land of anime and Pokemon. They just had not an election, but their party, or one of their two parties leading their government, just elected or chose Takeichi as their new leader, who would be their first female PM and is also a sort of disciple of Shinzo Abe, the hyper-nationalist, right-wing, basically hyper-Republican equivalent Japanese leader who was assassinated with a Rust double-barrel shotgun. You know the one from Rust? Yeah, exactly that pretty much was used to take him out. Well, now, his party is basically guaranteed to win the next prime minister election, the next PM election, and they have essentially set their main candidate to be this woman who was good friends with Shinzo Abe, who is basically reflecting the same politics as him, and she's more or less considered the Japanese Donald Trump. This very likely is going to lead to a massive conservative victory in the upcoming PM election. Like, she's basically already the prime minister at this point. She's got it in the bag. So I'm going to report on this as though it's already set in stone and she's won, because there's unlikely to be any miracles here that change it. And I think this goes to show that we're still very much in the shift right for a lot of the culture across the world right now. Maybe America is unique and ahead of the times, and maybe we're seeing a shift left behind the scenes that isn't really as visible as we'd like it to be. But we are still seeing other countries around the world fall into this populist right-wing swing. And Japan is just the most recent on the list. Japan's LDP elects Takeichi as new leader, likely to be first female prime minister. You better believe the right was all over the idea that, like, the left not being happy about this meant the left is actually fake woke because she's a woman and she would be Japan's first female PM, so why isn't the left celebrating? It's like, well, because she's a fascist, that's why. If elected prime minister, Takeichi will face a host of issues, including an aging population and growing unease about immigration. Mind you, Japan has some problems that kind of make this a little unsurprising. Notably, we kind of got a reference to it there in the post headline, like the subtitle. Japan's birth rates have been a point of discussion for a while, and the fundamental issue that comes from dropping birth rates in a country is that after a certain point, you start to have less young people being born than there are old people dying and middle-aged people reaching old people age, where they can no longer be a productive part of the workforce. And so you end up in a situation where a significant amount of your country is old and dying and not able to take care of themselves, much less work, while a increasingly smaller proportion of your country are young, future-thinking or forward-thinking, left-leaning, capable of working people. There's just far fewer young people, not enough to take care of the older population by working certain jobs, service positions, working in medicine, and that's been the big problem that Japan's faced. And if they were smart, they would start globalizing. They would start heavily encouraging tourism and immigration even more than they already do. But instead, like many countries have when they experience an inevitable massive financial recession, Japan is opting to go for right-wing populism as its solution. This party, the Liberal Democratic Party, or LDP, you'll notice that liberal and democratic oftentimes do not mean good things when it comes to party names in countries outside of America. Democratic parties outside of America with that name tend to be the literal fascist parties, which I'm sure Republicans take much glee in when it comes to the United States. Though, as I was saying, this party is real big on the anti-China politics. As you can imagine, Japan, China, due to a lot of historical factors, and just the fact that China is very publicly trying to overtake all the competition to be the world's #1 superpower, the idea of competition against China, or saying China is a threat to Japan, well, it's popular in Japan just as much as it is in America.
China's coming for us. They're beating us in the market. They're destroying us. We owe so much money to China.
That rhetoric works on Japanese people just as well as it works on Americans. It really does. Sanae Takeichi has been elected as the head of Japan's ruling Liberal Democratic Party, or LDP, and is therefore likely to become the next prime minister and the first woman to lead the country. Takeichi beat Shinjiro Koizumi, the son of former Prime Minister Juichiro Koizumi, in a runoff vote on Saturday after none of the 5 candidates won a majority in the first round of voting. A vote in Parliament to choose the next Prime Minister is expected to be held on October 15th, and highly expected to go to the Liberal Democratic Party. A former Economic Security Minister, Takeichi, 64, skews towards the right-wing flank of the LDP. Her election only involved 295 LDP parliamentarians and about 1 million dues-paying members. It only reflected 1% of the Japanese public. Takeichi is expected to replace Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba, since the LDP remains the largest party in parliament. However, after major electoral setbacks, the LDP-led coalition no longer holds majorities in either chamber and will require cooperation from opposition lawmakers to govern effectively. It looks like even with the growing boomer, or I guess stagnating boomer and shrinking youth population in Japan, even then, there is still starting to be a bit of pushback. The pendulum seems like it's more on the swing away from the right in Japan right now than to the right. But it's still very much on the right, and that's why we're seeing so much fanfare from conservatives even in America over this. The party will likely look to expand its current coalition with the moderate centrist Komito, with at least one of the key opposition parties, which are more centrist. If you guys want an idea of how the right's been reacting to this, we should really look no other than at all these damn tweets that I went ahead and bookmarked ahead of time here. Here's a tweet that's a little more, I guess you could say, middle of the road on this. They're not really like celebrating it, they're just kind of posting about it. Sanae Takeichi won the LDP presidential election, effectively making her the next Prime Minister of Japan. She's Japan's first female prime minister and is often referred to as the successor to Shinzo Abe's ideology. Then we really get to the like American conservatives reacting. God is good. He is giving Japan another chance. No shit. Best thing to happen in Japan since Shinzo Abe. A lot of these people are worshiping Shinzo Abe. Yeah. You can guess what the politics are of the people celebrating this. I think the fact that he posted this as a meme, celebrating, tells you everything you need to know. They're really trying to make World War II happen again. The, like, white, Nazi, Aryan, Japanese nationalist alliance. They really want to make it happen again. The Axis powers too. This time with Russia. Japan did not elect a globalist in Koizumi. to replace a resigning Ishiba, and replaced him with an actual nationalist that follows the late Shinzo Abe's ideology, I'm impressed. The land of the rising sun did not fall to pro-Chinese globalism. Abe is smiling from heaven. Y'all forget what happened to Shinzo Abe? Like, y'all are acting like the Japanese people might not do that again. I'm just saying, they might. Sanae Takeichi will be Japan's new leader. She was very close with Shinzo Abe. Japan has been liberated, and the left is in panic mode. Party emoji. Breaking. Sanae Takeichi, close friend to the assassinated late great Shinzo Abe, has won the Japanese Prime Minister election. And then they unironically posted this. This Chud Jack with the Japanese flag in the background that says the East is saved, which was literally made to make fun of Chuds, posted this unironically. Unbelievable, dude. These people are so corny, it's getting hard to make fun of them, because I feel like everything is low-hanging fruit now. This is almost like the Japanese version of electing Trump. Yeah, I agree, actually. Takeichi was a close ally of Shinzo Abe and a hardline right-wing Japanese nationalist. Her victory is very unexpected, a massive shock. Japan is so back. Congratulations, Japan. How many of these people do you want to bet don't know any more about the story than the headline? Because they're commenting on it like she won an election among the people? The reason why she's essentially going to be the new PM is because her party is currently holding a majority of seats in their parliament. But in multiple other branches of their government, they are losing seats at a rapid rate, meaning that they are going to have to get party collaboration to get anything done anyway. And so you just know that a lot of these people don't understand the first thing about this story. They haven't read past the headline, because if they did, they'd know that it was a vote among the party leaders for who would be their new, like, PM leader. So she's a lame duck? Not so much a lame duck, but, like, more what I'm trying to get across here is that this was not the Japanese people choosing her. It was the leaders of her party choosing her. Wow, Japan is about to get a right-wing prime minister who is being compared to the late great Shinzo Abe. Okay, the late great Shinzo Abe line is telling me that a lot of these accounts have got to be bots, right? Like, they're getting their lines from a bot farm or some kind of, like, email list somewhere. Japan's governing party has elected Sanae Takeichi, a hardline ultra-conservative and China hawk, as their new leader. We need more right-wing leaders worldwide. 100 emoji. They always speak in, like, brain-dead, low-IQ emojis, don't they? After 3 years of fighting against the globalists within the LDP, we have avenged Shinzo Abe. We can now finally, or he can finally now, rest in peace. The next Japanese prime minister is a protege of Shinzo Abe and a metal drummer. And you're blackpilling? So you can already see they're doing the things. I have no clue if this is real. It's very possible this is, like, faked or AI generated. But even if it is, it's like... Well, here we already have Femoid PM. Ogarida. God, I think it's wild how the Chuds have fully embraced the term Chud. Chudster's Revenge, the Chud Jacks. Like, Chud used to be... Like, they immediately appropriate any funny insult used to describe them. And now they use it ironically, as if they don't actually look like that. Cucked mentality? I don't know. Is he committing seppuku because it makes me want to do a seppuku? I do think it's funny that even the super right-wing nationalist folks on Twitter, who you would think would be celebrating this, a lot of them are still mad because it means they're going to have a femoid leading a powerful, or I guess a world superpower. You know, that's something that they just can't vibe with. Damn it, another country has fallen. A female leader. No. A fucking femoid. That's what foid is short for, by the way. They used to say femoid, now they say foid. Just a little lexicon update for the boomers in chat. Anyway, folks, this news, there's a little bit of a silver lining to it, at least. This was not the people of Japan electing her. This was her party electing her, which means that we should very much still expect a left-wing swing from Japan and many other first world nations across the planet, particularly America, in response to the massive mistake that was voting against the left-leaning incumbents that were in power across the world prior to this recent stint of elections that were taken hard by fascist, ultra-nationalist parties. In every, country that's had a worthwhile election in the last couple years. It's actually kind of crazy. Anyway, folks, if you enjoyed this segment, if you found it enjoyable, educational, or entertaining in any way, oh, well, there goes the hood, and you want to support me and see more from me, then consider leaving a like and a comment down below, whether you're watching this live or in the future when it goes out on YouTube as its own thing. It really does help a lot and means a ton. I appreciate it immensely. So if you guys also want to see more from me on other platforms, make sure to follow my social medias, linked down below as well. And of course, if you want to support me directly, financially, help me keep the lights on and a roof above my head here at the Xanderhall studio, then please consider donating, subscribing, or gifting a sub on my website, xanderhall.com/live, or support me through YouTube, Twitch, Streamlabs, StreamElements, Patreon, or buy some custom Xanderhall merch through the Streamlabs link down below. Regardless of how you support me though, thank you all so much for watching, and as always, have a good one.